Hi, this is Colorful Foresight where we intuitively connect from within. And it's woo woo time where we connect our woo woo into our mundane living. Hi, my name's Sylvia of Colorful Foresight. Here we have Heather from Indigo Jaguar Intuitive Arts.
I left for Arizona. I got reunited with an auntie, and she had this beautiful amethyst cluster and in her trailer. And she's like, you know what? She goes, you like crystals and stones? I said, I do. And then she showed me this. She goes, would you like that? And I said, oh, Auntie Donna. I love that. Her name was Donna. So I called her Auntie Donna. And she goes, this is yours. So this is other stones and crystals I've got here or there. This for me was my really first beautiful, piece of crystal that I ever had. And so it was when I got into working at Crystal Magic. I was there for about a year. When I did get the job at Crystal Magic, um, I immediately just was drawn to the crystals, and I wanted to learn crystal healing. Is we're that nearby. We're like, well, if you wanted to do the crystal, you had to do the Reiki 1 and 2. So I went to Sedona because I wasn't that far. I was like only 45 minutes from Sedona, so I would drive down the switchbacks, go into Sedona, and I took my Reiki 1 and 2, and so I could just jump in and do the crystals. And wow, do I have more crystals, and I even had given some away, but I just brought a few just to share with people. So this was one of my very first I wanted to share. This was from my auntie Donna. So this will
And that's
growing
pretty
up.
cool, your auntie. I don't think I would have had an auntie that did that.
Well, she wasn't. I didn't see. I really didn't get to know my aunt very well because she was, even though they didn't do, church, they were still raised Catholic, were still Christian. So, but my auntie was still also connected because she felt the connection with the Native American, and she was when I was supposedly had found the proof of our ancestry. But after she passed away, her husband threw everything out. So, but that's okay. She loved her owls like my aunt Carla did. Um, and so owls, wolves, apparently now crystals, so my auntie gave that to me as a gift. So that will be my treasure gift. And growing up, my mom was very superstitious, and there was this superstition that said, if opal wasn't your birthstone, you can't wear it because it'll be bring you bad luck. So finally, over the years, I got to, I didn't get to follow that anymore. It was nice. I was on my own, and so I have several pieces of opal, and not all of them have the fire in it, but this is one of them. Just absolutely love opals. There are some that don't have the fire; they're solid. So for me, that's if someone were to ask me what is, how people have totem animals, like people will say, well, like the eagle or the turtle or any sort of animal is one of my power animals. For me, my spirit stone is, the opal. Another quick cool story: when I was working at Crystal Magic, and I was eventually put in charge of the crystal section. That department was my under my management, and I was opening the store one morning, and I was walking down the main aisle, and I heard this, "Hey," just like "Hey," and a really quick side note: if anybody wants to see, it looks different now. But if anyone wants to hear something really, watch something interesting, apparently, the Dead Files last year or 2 years ago at Crystal Magic for the spirits that are there in the building.
Mm.
And we had some experiences, in the store when I was there, but nothing that was too scary or anything. But that was just a little side note. So for me, it was either I would open the store in the morning and just say, "Good morning, everybody. I'm just here. It's Heather opening up the store. Don't mind me. I'm not here to harm anybody or anything. Just opening up the store." And I would go in, set everything up, and I was walking down the aisle and I heard this "Hey," and I looked off to my side, and on the aisle section of the where we kept the amethyst, because amethyst you can't keep in a window because it will fade after with direct sunlight. So just be careful of your amethyst.
Oh.
So I turned and looked to my right, and this guy was just like, of all the crystals, he just stood right out to me, and
It was
he wanted to
speaking
be
to
me.
you?
I'm like,
You were
okay,
connecting? You were
and that was the
connecting.
one who said hey to me. I walked up to it and I said, oh, hello, and I picked it up, and it's hard to see, but there's a lot of beautiful like
Yeah.
rainbows.
So it
Just
said
really
hey to
gorgeous.
you, like
I heard a
hey.
hey, and when I turned around, and I looked, it was like not loud. It was almost kind of like in my head, kind of like.
Mm-hmm.
And when I turned, this is the first thing that caught my attention. So that was him. I'm like, okay. And back then I got my crystals half off. So I looked, picked him up. I go, okay, I'll get your next paycheck. You're coming home with me. And so I took him in the back. So my connection, with
I love
stones.
that. That's a
And just,
great little
and another,
hey, hey.
and that I have that's recent is this guy here. I'm still trying to research again what type of crystal this is. But the jaguar, as people know, my name, Indigo Jaguar, has been a power animal for me since I was in Arizona. And earlier this year, I had been, or last year, was it last year? This year, I can't remember. But I realized that I needed to get back into touch with that animal because it was time because you go through periods where they have message lessons for you back and sometimes new ones come in, so it's that whole spiritual team. And I said, I need to have something to help me remember you more, to keep you more near me and by me. And so I put that out there, and it was, I think, like a week later, I was in a town in Clarence, and there's a store called Dragonfly, um, Dragonfly Salon, something like that. And Sarah, absolutely beautiful store. It's in her house. And I was walking and looking through the crystals. Shan was with me, and I just happened to look down, and this piece of this palm stone was there, and you can't see it on the screen, but there's like, you see how they're like blinking these little lights. When I look down, there's actually, I'm looking at it right now, there is a face of a black panther or jaguar that's in the stone. That's one of its eyes right there. And I looked down, I picked it up, and I saw it, and I'm like, there you go, there she is. And so I
So
got her.
most of the time, it seemed like the stone picked you, including the one your aunt gave you. They picked you. You got, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
one that, yeah, that's very interesting. That the
And there are
connection.
some that I get that I know that will be a gift later on. I absolutely love rose quartz. Rose quartz is such a beautiful, soft stone. Um, the calcite stones are very soft and gentle. And this year, JJ from Tuta Speaks actually, and this one here really, I've never had like held a crystal and wrote and channeled a message. This one I do that with every now and then. And it's beautiful because there's a little indentation right here. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
hard to see, but when I hold it, my thumb fits perfectly into
Mm,
it.
yeah,
And this is a golden healer. So this was a gift that a crystal that she gifted me this year.
that's
Um,
beautiful.
because she had pulled, we were doing something, I don't know if it was live. She had pulled a card, and she's like, oh my God. She goes, look at this card. And it was like a male spirit guide, and in his hand was this golden flame. And she goes, I got to show you something. So she goes and she grabs this crystal, and she goes, look at that. And she held the card. I'm like, oh, wow. And she goes, Heather, this crystal belongs to you. And I'm like, what? So
That's another
when the
example of
time
the
it was right.
crystal choosing you.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. I never thought
Yep.
of it that way.
Was my gift from her. And I, like I said, I have so many, and I know there's a time limit, but these here were the ones that I focused on to bring for. And I do shows on my channel. I do crystal visions. Jonathan Daly has been my guest. We talked about his favorite crystals and his wearable crystal grids that he creates. Nancy from A Crone's Intuition, she's done a show with me. Minasa in February. So I'm going to be doing more of the crystal visions episodes coming up, sharing our favorite crystals and talking about them. So I'll be sharing more as I go along.
That's great. That's great. So I like that your channel, YouTube channel, you got a whole bunch of things going on. You
I
have,
do have a segment that I'm going to continue doing moving forward. It's called The Spirit of Color. and I invite a guest on, and I let them pick what color they love the most and they resonate the most, and they'll come on and we'll share what favorite crystal that color, why they love that color. Do they have a beautiful piece of like scarf or clothing that they like? Why do they love that color so much? And I've done tangerine with Tangy. I have done teal with the Crone Zone with Heather and Priscilla. And I've done violet with Deb H, Purple Elephant. And I think that's as far as I've gotten. I'm talking in the process of talking to have Gerald on to do a color, so I want to be able to move forward and those segments coming up
You
on
got a
my
lot
channel.
of good interesting
I try,
content.
yeah, I'd like to try to be different. I'm not a political reader. I don't do a lot of like relationship or astrological readings, but I love the paranormal. I love doing investigative tarot, cold case. I have something new coming up with Ivana with that. I do the full moon and new moon readings with Ivana. So I like to kind of be trying to be different, kind of keep things fresh and hopefully not too boring. And then every Friday nights with Allison. And sometimes it's just her and I, or we have a guest. And just as of this. Oh, and
And
this one here that I'm wearing really quick is a Tanzanite Aura Quartz. And you can't see it, but there is it's beveled into the degrees of the Great Pyramid.
oh, really?
The and yes, so what it is well, the creator of the crystal for the IBM computers, he ended up connecting so strongly with crystal and knowing the power and the strength of a crystal that he created something called the Vogel wand, which people use for healing. I have one. It's packed away, but he also had apprentices, and there was a line of crystal pendants that went out, different ones, and we carried this at our store. And the angle or degrees of the beveling on this one was the pyramid. So it's kind of hard to see. Yeah, you really can't see the shape, but
Yeah,
it
it's
would
like
be
I can see it
something.
from the top, and then it's round. But you know
But
what's
there's different
interesting?
little
They might consider crystal woo woo, but you talk about technology. Don't they put course in the computer?
in our phone. You can't have phones without crystals,
Go
and we have
right.
crystal elements in our bodies. Our bodies have crystal in it.
I
So
mean,
yeah,
this is something we could talk
we're
for a long
crystal.
time.
We're Earth. We can go on
I
and on and
know.
on.
They try and make it like it's some weird thing, but it's like part of us.
No.
Anything with
Yep.
nature. Alrighty.
Mm.
So thank you for
Thank you.
sharing.
Thank you for having me.